Hello everyone. So friends, in our previous lecture, we discussed about the fake test double. So in this lecture, we'll discuss on what is dummy test double. So friends, what is dummy test double? So here when we do the unit testing for the class under test, the class may be dependent on the external dependencies. And it may happen that when we are testing one of the methods for the class under test, one or two dependencies does not play any role. So those two dependencies does not perform any role, but still they come into picture. So while unit testing them, we create dummies out of it. And the dummies doesn't have any business logic. So whatever the dummy we create for those external dependencies, we don't keep any business logic in it. And those dummy objects are basically used only for the code to compile. Let's say for an example, we are passing the external dependencies as a parameter to a constructor. But that passing of the parameter to the constructor has nothing to do with the unit testing. It is just passed to make the code compile. So friends, let's go to IntelliJ and see the demonstration of dummy test double without Mockito. And we'll see that how it affects the unit testing. So friends, in our previous lecture, we saw the demonstration of fake test double. So now we'll look into the demonstration of dummy test double. So here I will be creating one package. Mockito test double.dummy. And here I will close all the classes. So friends, the example which we'll be using will use what we created in the fake test double. So I'll simply copy these classes and paste it in the dummy package. So friends, as we saw in our previous lecture that book service class has these two methods, add book and find number of books. And it has an external dependency to book repository class, which basically communicates with the database. So friends, in order to demonstrate the dummy test double, what we can do is we'll create yet another dependency. Let's say we give the name to an email service. Now what this email service will do, in real world scenario, it will simply send a mail based on our use case. So we'll create email service interface. And let's say I keep it in the dummy package. And let's say for timing we simply have one method, send email. And let's say it takes in a message. So friends, here you can see add book and find number of books doesn't use email service. And let's say it has other methods. Which uses email service. So friends, book service uses book repository and email service. So friends, when we initialize book service, we need to pass these two external dependencies. So now instead of passing the book repository in the constructor of book service, we need to provide both the dependencies. It would look something like this. Now friends, let's go to our test folder and see the demonstration that how dummy test double comes into picture. So here I will be creating one package, test double.dummy. And let's say I use the fake book repository which we used in our fake test double. So this is our fake book repository. And let's say we create a test class. We give it a name as dummy test. And here we create a test method. We'll give it a name as demo dummy. And also friends, when we discussed about the fake test double, what we did was we created our own fake book repository, which was nothing but the fake implementation to the book repository. And then we used this book repository in our book service class. We added few books, and finally we provided an assert that the total number of books is 2. So here I will be using the same example. So we'll simply copy this, and in our test we'll simply put it. So friends, here you can see that when we are testing this find number of books, it only uses the book repository, but it has nothing to do with the email service. And if you go to dummy test, you can see that compiler is complaining that book service also needs the email service. But for this test, the email service is of no use, but still the compiler is complaining that we need to provide the email service. So in this scenario, the dummy test doubles comes into picture. So here what we do is, in our dummy package, we create a class, we give it a name as dummy email service, and this dummy email service implements email service, and we provide the implementation of send email. So friend, as it is a dummy object and it is simply used to make this code compile, what we can do is we can simply keep this send email as it is, or what we can do is we can throw an exception, let's say assertion error, and we can provide a message as method not implemented. So what's the advantage of this is that we are using this dummy email service just to make the code compile, and if by chance our class under test calls this send email method, the assertion error will be thrown. So therefore here, now what we do is we do email service, and we'll simply use this email service in the constructor of book service just to make the code compile. So the dummy test double only purpose is that they are not used in the actual test, they are simply used to make the code compile. So if I run the test case now, so here you can see the test case got executed successfully. So friends, in this lecture we saw the demonstration of how we can use the dummy test double in our tests. I hope you like this video. Thanks, have a nice day.